Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, a 4th of July firework edition. That means I should be all fired up, creating fireworks. I think I got accused a week or so ago of being an angry elf in some of my Father's Day stuff. I don't think I was an angry elf. I think I was just fired up. It's the same thing about 4th of July, right? The 4th of July is something that we as Christians should celebrate well, right? Not just because it's our country's independence, right? But we should all have our own spiritual 4th of July. What is yours? Let me give you a second, and I'm going to set the parameters, and then I want you to write it down. Tell me, right? Send it to me. When is your spiritual 4th of July? When is the moment where Jesus came in and gave you freedom? When did he have you declare your freedom from the enemy and your allegiance to him? Right? When did you make Jesus Christ the Lord of your life? When did that happen? Right? When is your date? Do you have a date? Now, for some people, they don't remember the date. Like, they can tell you where they were, they can tell you what it was, all of that stuff. They don't have a date necessarily, and that's perfectly fine. Right? You can have a night and evening. I don't have a date. I remember where I was. I remember I was with Bill Brown. I remember I was at camp, and I remember that he challenged me whether I was a good kid or a godly kid, right? And I remember that it changed life, right? And there are people that those moments are just etched in stone. But God tells us in the Old Testament, he told the Israelites, he reminded them, remember what God has done for you. Remember these moments. You should have a spiritual 4th of July. When's the time when you know your life completely changed? Right? Maybe you were good, but in that godly moment, all of a sudden, God's running the show. You're not running the show. If you've never had that moment, then today is a fantastic day. It's July 4th. Right? Today is the day when you have the ability to say, Lord, I want you to drastically change my life in one way. I want to do things your way. I want to quit living for me, and I want to start living for you. Right? I want to start making every moment count. I want you to order my steps. I want you to set forth my path. I want you to provide for me the things that you want for me. Right? That's what this means. On Independence Day, our forefathers, right, put a line in the sand and said, we're done doing things your way. Right? They declared, right, that the state that had been, right, over them, the British Kingdom, England, they declared that, listen, your whole objective is for yourself, and you're using me to gain for you. Listen, that's the enemy. Do you understand that that's the enemy's whole objective, is to take you, to use you, so he benefits. He does not care about you in any way, shape, or form. God, on the other hand, he wants to take your life. He wants to use your life. He is going to get the glory for your life. But he wants you to live a victorious life. He wants you to live the life that he, right, has purposed you for. That's full of free will, full of choices that you get to make. But he wants you to live in such a way that the parameters are there so that you're going to live a successful life on this planet. There are some great promises. God looked at the Israelites and said, hey, if you do it my way, here's what's going to happen. Your animals are going to be healthy and okay. Your women are going to have babies, right? You're going to have lots of food. You're going to have lots of water. Your enemies are not going to be at your doorstep. You're going to be protected. He gave them lots of promises and said, hey, you're going to be able to live life under these parameters. Imagine that. Imagine living your life under the parameters of God, right? Where he's not trying to control you. He's not trying to chew you up and use you up so that he can then throw you away. No, he gets the glory when you are living a purpose-driven life. So this 4th of July, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about your freedom. Do you have that date? Do you have a date? Do you have a time frame? Do you have a moment? Do you have a place? Do you have something where you drew the line in the sand and said, I'm not going to do it the enemy's way anymore? We're going to talk about this again tomorrow night, expand upon it, because 4th of July should definitely not be just a once a year thing. We should be grateful, thankful, and celebratory in nature all year long for what God has done for us through and with people. How he uses people, right, so that we can benefit and we can have freedom. We'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense.